And none of the insights that I talked about guarantees a permanent embodiment of that insight. So just because you realize that you are God does not mean that now you live every single day as though you were God. Just because you realize that there's no such thing as evil doesn't now mean that you walk around every day never seeing evil anymore, loving absolutely everything. It doesn't guarantee that. Usually that would take a lot more work to be able to fully embody these profound insights. That's really where the bulk of the work lies in this work. Not realizing the insight, but then fully embodying it. That's the really hard part. So even though I've realized many of these insights, again, don't take me to be greater than I actually am. For example, I still struggle with the notion of death. I would still say that I haven't conquered fully my fear of death, even though I know that death is imaginary. Now you might say, well, but how could that be? Well, because it's a very big thing to embody. It's hard to truly be so conscious all the time that you're immune to threats to your physical survival. That's hard. To embody that will take you probably decades of work or some really profound awakening. See? It's hard to be loving all the time when people are being assholes to you. What can you say? It's hard. This is our work here. See, even though I know that everything is love, that doesn't mean that I'm always in a lovey, chipper mood. And if someone does something nasty or evil to me or devilish, people can still behave like jerks. That doesn't mean that I won't get triggered sometimes. I won't get angry. I won't feel bad about it or whatever. Now, of course, in the bigger picture, I can kind of come back and recenter myself and say, okay, yeah, that guy's an asshole and I should probably love him. And I can see the love, kind of the twisted form of love that he's expressing towards me and how I'm judging him to be evil. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see this, but in the heat of the moment, it's not always that easy. And even with everything I said here, there are still millions of minor insights that you can have. For example, you can realize everything above that I told you, but still you can lack insight into things like, how does science work? What is science? That takes a specific insight. What is evolution? What is art? What is a relationship? What is technology? What is leadership? What is pain? What is motivation? What are thoughts? What is fear? What is anger? What is happiness? How do psychedelics work? What is collective ego? What is devilry? How does society work? What is society? What is culture? What is ideology? And this list is basically endless. You can question reality at this kind of granular level basically till you're dead. Till your body drops dead, at least. And there's a lot of value in answering these sorts of minor questions. I mean, these aren't really minor, they're pretty major. But they're minor relative to the bigger stuff I talked about above. So just kind of start to see that there's a lot to this work. Probably start with the big stuff, then you can move down the food chain to the smaller stuff, depending on how curious you are. Many people will probably burn out, and their curiosity will burn out after they get the major stuff, and they probably won't even care about the minor stuff. But personally, I love questioning this minor stuff as well. Like, for example, I'm interested in questions about society and culture and politics and understanding leadership and technology and evolution and science. And these, traditionally, many spiritual teachers would say, oh, all this is just nonsense. But it's not nonsense. In fact, it's these more minor insights that are, in a certain sense, more practical and more useful to helping us to advance and to evolve society and making it better. But of course, those big ones are also very, very important and life transforming. So start with those. Focus on those. As you pursue awakening, be careful not to stop prematurely. Just keep in mind that it's probably deeper and richer than you ever imagined. And ultimately, what we really care about here is how deeply do you understand reality? At the ultimate level, how deeply do you understand it? How conscious are you of it? And that determines how well you're also able to embody it. So when you're not able to embody it fully, that probably means that you're not conscious of it fully and that you don't understand it fully. My notion of understanding is a very deep and profound notion.